and being in pads, half pads for 2 days, we got a lot of work to do physically as far as some fundamentals, techniques. I think we need to be a lot more, to some degree, aggressive at the line of scrimmage, point of attack on both sides of the football. Be good in getting full pads tomorrow so we can maybe tackle a little bit and do some of those things that are important to play in the game. I think the kids have given a good effort. The one thing I can say, and I told them this last night, you got to be able to hear football. And when I say that, I'm talking about, offensive linemen coming off the ball, defensive linemen, that contact, that secondary contact you get down the field. And I told them last night I didn't hear it yesterday. I heard it a little better today, but hearing football is important, and kind of tells you what's going on. But, we're luckily it's not September 3rd, and we got some days to get after it.
What have you seen from Denard that has encouraged you, and what have you seen that shows you need some?
I've been really encouraged on his the little things, and that's really what we talk about constantly at every position. But paying attention to details when you look at ball fakes and everything that you do off the run game. I think he's thrown the ball well. I think he's placed it well. I think his timing, coming back from under center or out of the gun, if it's a quick 3 or a quick 5, I think have all been good. I think that part of it. And I think he's really had 2 throws that you wouldn't want to make late over the middle, where he can make some things happen with his feet and buy a little time. But, you never want to throw the ball late over the middle. That's just a standard rule. And, he one of them was got picked and the other one was incomplete. But, I think his growth is really good.
Any first impressions of the punters?
Seth and Matt both, in the 4 days, John, have both kicked the ball pretty well. We had a pretty good wind kicking into it yesterday, and it's always good to see how they handle that part of it, and if they're going to say, Coach, let's kick the other way so the ball goes a little further, But they're both doing a good job.
Now that you've had a few more practices with the Shells, what have you seen from the running backs, and are any of them starting to stand out?
Yeah, I don't think so yet. I think, they know they're not going all the way to the ground. I mean, we do at times. That happens. But so I think when it's hard to judge to some degree until we start really, putting them down and, seeing them protect, with, a big linebacker coming and, how they're going to hold up there. But, I think they're all working hard.
How have your safeties looked, particularly Tarvin Johnson and Marvin Robinson?
Okay. I mean, they're still young guys who, I think playing in a new scheme and a new system a little bit. I think there's some catching up that they have to be able to do, as far as learning on the run a little more. But, they're both active, they're both willing, and that's a good thing.
How hard is it to teach a quarterback who's used to running the ball, patience in the pocket?
Well, I think that's hard for a lot of quarterbacks, and I think part of that is, part of that is on them. Part of it, when I say that, it's, recognizing what you have up front, recognizing what the defense is going to give you, right? The other part of it is for him, it's a great weapon. If he can clear through the zone or the play action part of it and has his footwork and the timing and the mechanics and the reads, if it's not there, him bringing it down from a drop back situation, he's a dangerous guy.
But you wanted to be comfortable, though.
There's no question. There's no question. And that's what I've been really impressed with him, because from the spring, he's even more patient. He's not, as happy with his feet. Let me put it that way.
Besides the kicking punting situation, is there another position at this point where you're like, you really feel you're going to need freshmen to contribute?
Well, I can tell you this, and I'll answer it this way. If they're the best player, they'll play. I don't know who all the best players are yet.
Are you happy with how Troy and JT have been able
Yeah, you know what? Both of them have, they've taken a lot of snaps. You know, we get a lot of snaps in the course of a day, and they're both hanging in there well, doing a good job. I think you have some soreness that's part of it. You know, I think they both have handled it well, and I think they're both doing a good job.
How far into padded practices do you expect to have the backs down to where you're looking at that?
Yeah, John, I hope, in the next 8 days, a lot of things clean up, because we'll start game planning. And even though you do for your first couple games anyway, now, and what you try and see and what you try and do, but 10 days before, we'll really start game planning. Spring's never enough. I told Troy and JT, before camp started, I haven't seen you play. And I think I've mentioned this before, I don't revert back to what they did in the past. Number one, you don't know how guys were coached, what the scheme was, all those things, and that's not fair to the kids. So we believe in the competition and evaluation on a daily basis, and that's what's made us good football teams, and builds a heck of a foundation for you.
Has there been a receiver outside of the top two, Roy and Junior, that has started to show himself a little bit?
That's a good question.
Hale said yesterday, like those two specifically.
Well, and I think those two, because of a lot of snaps that they played and a lot of experience, obviously there's some talent there. But I would say, I don't know, no, probably not. It's a good question.
Is that a concern then? Because
No, nothing's a concern yet.
Not even the kicking?
Not yet.
I imagine you got a good feel for who would be the leaders of this team, and maybe not even just from the senior class. Are you finding anybody in practice who's really stepped up in that role?
I think there's some guys who, naturally have that with them. I wouldn't say I've been overly that I've seen a lot of guys yet. But, when the struggles start, it's easy right now. I mean, we've had great energy. They're wanting and learning and doing all that. I think right now, but, we've only practiced 4 days, and Saturday we get to go twice. That's fortunate. And, middle of next week, you'll find out who those guys who really have a passion to play and love to play. We got to keep working, staff-wise. We got to coach well every day, and that's where the evaluation starts. We didn't we didn't hear enough practice out there. We didn't hear football. That starts with me. I've got to do a better job of making sure those kids understand what we want to do, and I've got to do a better job of educating them, and I've got to do a better job of making sure they all understand the expectations.
When you say you want to hear football, does that mean communication within the players, or is that like physicality?
Both. It's both. I probably like the physicality. Is that a word?
It is.
We'll go with it, okay? I like that part of it as much as I like anything.
But is that something that only you will know as soon as you hear it? It's hard to
Yeah.
It's hard to explain exactly what hearing football is, but
Yeah.
you'll know it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Believe me, you know it. But every team, you go through that a little bit.
Crunching of bones, is that what you're looking for?
Just guys coming off the football and, looking to hit in with your eyes and getting after somebody.
sounding fast or sounding
Well, I like that too.
Yeah.
I may bring you out for a couple days.